Okay, we are streaming now. Let me see if this thing is streaming to our channel. You guys do a sound check?
Check, check.
Check, check.
What's up? What's up?
All right, guys, we are good to go. Okay, guys, welcome to your favorite podcast, Beards and Bitcoins. We are on episode 25 now, I believe. I don't know what they call that, a silver anniversary or I don't know, a quarter anniversary. I got no idea what to call it.
Quarterversary.
But I am your co-host, BitBoy. That's your other co-host, Jay Chains. We are joined by a special guest tonight, Bitcoin Ben. So, Jay Chains, what is going on? How has your week been, bud?
Oh man, my week was good. I was in LA last week, and then my wife and we've been looking to buy a house, and the market is so rough here in Austin. It's a tough market to buy, so been banging our heads against the walls trying to do this, trying to put in offers and then get outbid. But there's probably worse problems to have in life, so we're doing all right. It's weather's been beautiful, so I can't complain. It's been beautiful here in Austin. So how about you? How about your week?
Well, my week has been good. Just always busy as ever. I got like 900 businesses I'm doing right now. So, bear market blues, right?
I got to find something.
I thought this year was basically going to be me just sitting at my house watching my money grow, but that's unfortunately not really how it happened. So, how about you, Ben? How has your week been?
Long and drawn out so far because this damn job thing. And but other than that, doing great. Every day so far this week, I've woke up and I'm good with that. That's about it. That's all I need.
That's important, man. When you get back vertical in the morning each day, it's a good thing.
Yeah, like I say, the morning that I don't wake up, I'm gonna be pissed.
Well, it's been a tough year, like the last, 13, 14 months, whatever. It's been pretty rough in crypto. And, sometimes you really do need that perspective, like just being thankful that we're still here. And, sometimes, like, I've got some friends that are going through, like, something, I mean, I can't talk about it. It's, like, absolutely insane what they're going through right now. And, my wife and I have been talking about how the last year has been kind of challenging for us and stuff, job change and, trying to make money in crypto in the space. And it's been hard, obviously, due to the market. And we look at these other people's situation. We're like, man, like, God forbid we had to go through that. And it makes you really thankful for, we got a house, our kids are healthy and, you just got to be thankful for stuff, sometimes. So, I mean, being thankful for getting up, I mean, I'm down with that for sure.
Yes, it's a good perspective to have. You got to have that positive mental attitude, especially like you said, man, these bear market blues, it can change people. I mean, we've seen a lot of people kind of go from, one mentality to the next over the last couple of months, excuse me. So yeah, that's, keep your positive mental attitude. Let's talk about something that's hopefully going to start to change the sentiment of the crypto space. Ben, you are throwing a big meetup down here in Texas in April.
Yes.
That's one of the things we want to talk about to you today is the meetup down in Blanco, Texas, April 6th. Tell us a little bit about what the people can expect.
Well, I will be there, and I will be running around nude, and and basically drinking a lot of beer, eating chicken wings, and hell, bring your wife and kids. No, it's actually a charity event, and what it is the Guinness Book of World Record will be there, and they'll actually be counting heads and we are going to go for the world record cryptocurrency meetup. We think we're going to beat the record because there is no record.
Perfect.
So
we got it in the bag.
I think we got a pretty good chance of overtaking zero. So no, but there's a ton of influencers actually going to be there. Lots of like live music. We're expecting about 2,000 people.
Oh wow!
So it's like legit going to be a ton of people, and let's see, me, Jay Snip, Uh, now you live in Texas, right, Jay?
Yeah. I live in Austin, which is just about an hour or so away from Blanco. And so Ben and I, or BitBoy and I, we were planning to come down there and we could do some live streaming and hanging out and meeting people and doing all sorts of fun stuff.
Absolutely. It's literally going to be a blast. And the reason that I wanted to have it was there's so many conferences and things out there that the average Joe, you know, they're like $800 a ticket, and that's expensive. I mean, I can't afford, you know, the only conferences I go to are the ones where they give me a free ticket because I ain't paying for jack shit. You want Bitcoin? Is this a family friendly
It
show?
is very family friendly. We're a very family friendly show.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We have had we've had McAfee on the show.
Yeah. We try our best to keep it. But the BitBoy brand is family friendly, so I like to keep everything like that.
You can say whatever you can.
Yeah, but don't feel like you got to really, you know.
No. I'll actually like keep it PG 12 or whatever.
Yeah, you can go PG 13.
PG 18.
13? All right.
13. That's good.
Boy, that just opens up a whole another level of language.
PG 13 movies, you can say the F word one time. So I don't know, maybe PG 12 is better.
Yeah. But it's so when we started talking about it, and anyone interested, check it out on www.bitcoinben.io. There's a link right there for it. I wanted to do a meetup that like the average person can actually go to. So I'm like, well, let's charge like, 10, maybe $15 or whatever. Then we found out that we had to pay for the venue and the insurance and like all the other stuff. But it's still only $20 an adult, 6 years old to I think 18 is $10, and any child under 6 is free. Oh,
nice.
It's the conferences had gotten so crazy that the only people that were showing up were like executives and like ICOs and like people who had an extra $800 where they could toss on a ticket. And I myself, I'm in cryptocurrencies for the revolution more than I am like how much cash I'm actually going to make. I'm a libertarian, and I'm huge on freedom, and especially currency freedom. And when I planned it out, I wanted it for the average Joe, and
that's awesome.
And also the average Jane.
Wow, you got to include the Janes.
I was gonna say Joette.
Jane is much better. Joette.
That's super cool. The space kind of needs more of that. But what I really like about the space that you guys have rented is, I mean, it is like an old Wild West scene. I think they've used it in a bunch of movies. They've used it in commercials, all sorts of stuff. I mean, it's the facade of the old Wild West. So if you're coming down to the meetup, bring your Stetson, bring your boots, put on your tight jeans. Ladies, put on your tight jeans.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. And actually the first 1,000 people are actually getting a black cowboy hat with my logo on it.
Oh, first 1,000? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Holy crap! I'm gonna be one of the first 1,000. I got to get that hat.
Yeah, and if you see me out there like walking around, I'll have a probably a white or a silver magic marker, and if you want, I'll sign your hat
Ooh.
for you.
Now, are you going to be wearing chaps or?
I will. I will. That's all I'll have on. But
Just the assless chaps. Yeah.
exactly. My wife said, "Hey, you can't walk around nude. Here's some chaps." And I was like, "Okay."
Nice.
Because she's responsible.
That's funny. In a former life, I was and when I say in a former life, about years
You were a
ago.
porn star.
Right. Yeah. No, I was actually a rancher. I did trail rides and all this stuff out in Colorado. So I've got the boots, the spurs, we got the Stetsons. I'll be dressed to the nines. It'll be a different J Chains in Texas when you guys see me.
That's cool, man. I'm actually more of a blue cheese guy. I don't really do. I don't really mess. I don't really mess with ranch too much. So.
But I'm bummed.
So I know that was real good. I know I laugh at myself. Well, cool. Well, we'll get a little more into kind of like the meetups and what you do in the space bin and things like that. But it's time for our Monarch token.io crypto shout out, crypto Twitter shout out. I'm actually going to branch into another area of Twitter, which I've been teasing on my Twitter account. But this is brought to you guys by Monarch Token. Bitcoin Ben, do you know anything about Monarch wallet?
I have heard of it. I've never used it. I think JSnip4 uses that.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. But Robert Beatles, Crypto Beatles, you probably know him. He's the
Yeah.
president of Monarch, and it's a really great wallet. We just had a story I covered on my channel today about Coinami that basically had a backdoor in the wallet where, basically there was like a web browser aspect to the wallet, and, that's not very safe. And basically the people's private keys were being broadcasted onto, or their seed phrases were being broadcasted onto Google's API, and people were able to come in and get those and steal everybody's crypto. So, these web-based wallets are no good, and, you should stay away from those, definitely in my opinion, not financial advice. But Monarch Token stores it, on the blockchain, so it's a different kind of storage than other wallets that you guys, are used to seeing. So definitely want to give them a big shout out, big, they're a sponsor of the show and stuff like that. So you guys check them out. So I'm going to start. So for my Twitter shout out, I'm being very careful with my words. I'm going to shout out my new sports podcast with Armando B, aka Crypto Terp, and Andy from the Coin Boys, aka producer, by the way. We love sports, and in crypto, there's not a giant crossover for sports. And I live, breathe sports every day. I've got other businesses that are sports related and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool to get two other guys from the crypto space together to do a sports podcast. It's called Immaculate Perceptions. Obviously, a play on the Immaculate Reception. And it's kind of a debate show. We debate. It gets kind of intense and stuff like that. So we just had our first episode. The Twitter handle is at IPPod. And that is Immaculate Perception. So you guys go follow us on Twitter. For those of you guys that do like sports and you want an outlet to talk sports, you can come get with us on the Twitter handle. So that's my shout out. I'm shouting myself out. I love doing that.
That's okay.
Yeah,
That's okay.
shameless
What about you, Ben? Who do you want to shout out?
All right. My shout out is for a lawyer. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but he's a super wicked nice guy. His name is actually Blake E. Rizzo.
Oh, no, Blake.
He is the lawyer for actually quite a few things. The Litecoin Foundation, and also for the Tour de Crypto charity guys. So they help with a lot of charity work, and they are helping us with the event in Texas. So I'd like to give a shout out to Blake, and his Twitter is at Blake Rizzo, which is BlakeRizzo 24. So check him out if you need any crypto legal advice. He's a super nice guy, and he's really big on charity.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, he's a nice guy. We got a chance to meet him a couple times in the last. It's in Chicago. He was in Chicago, right? And then we saw him in Vegas.
Was he in? I don't think he was in Chicago,
Okay,
but he was in Vegas.
Yeah.
was in Vegas.
Yeah, he was in Vegas, and I met Blake. He was on my YouTube channel once for an interview, and he was a big part of the Tour to Crypto. And I had on a Tour to Crypto shirt the other night, and I'm sitting it's a hoodie. He hooked me up with a hoodie for free. I love that thing. I wear it all the time. And I go to Publix, and I'm checking out, right? I had to go up there and get some Band-Aids because my kid jacked up his toenail. You know, he's 7. He's bleeding. I had to go get some Band-Aids. It was a big mess. So I was in a hurry, and I'm going through the checkout line, and the girl in the checkout line is making small talk with everyone. And I'm like, oh, no, please don't make small talk with me. Like, I got to hurry. And she's like, what is Tour to Crypto? What is that, like a bike ride or something? And I was in such a hurry. Like, I missed an opportunity, right? I should have been like, oh, well, it's this charity for, the crypto charity, raise awareness for crypto and stuff like that. But I was just like, yeah, something like that, and walked out the door. So I missed it.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect, guys.
Just give me my Band-Aids.
I was like, my kid's bleeding right now. I got to get home. So luckily it was his left foot, not his soccer foot. So.
Ooh, that's important. That kicking toe.
We just started soccer. I just started coaching the new 8 and under team on Monday night. So
that's right. This is your first time coaching this team because you recently moved, right?
First time coaching in this league. Yeah. So I don't know any of these kids, but I was pretty impressed with them. So I told the families, I said, now listen, guys, I'm really good with kids. Your kids will love me, but I will scream on the sidelines. I just got that. I got that right out in the front, out of the gate. I want to set the expectations pretty low. So.
Well, that's good. That's good. Let them know right like you said, right out the gate. Well, for my crypto Twitter shout out, not so much a crypto company. It is actually Beats by Dre, their support team. I wear these headphones for our show. Recently saw that the material that makes up the earpiece was like deteriorating. And so the other day I shot him a tweet, and this was over the weekend. On Monday, I had like this box that I packaged everything in. The FedEx guy came. And then today I have a new pair. I mean,
crazy fast.
That's crazy customer support. And I know that they are like $1 trillion business, and customer support should be a thing, but I was blown away at how fast it happened.
That's not a thing. They're only $1 trillion business, but most of the, your top businesses in the world have terrible customer support, Amazon,
because
Amazon doesn't have great customer support. Apple has decent customer support, but you have to either pay for it or go in person, which is a headache. But you look at, AT&T, Comcast. Oh my gosh, I almost had a brain aneurysm dealing with them when we moved.
They're the worst.
Yeah, a lot of these bigger companies have terrible customer service. So to hear that a big company like that has great customer service, that would make me more likely to buy something from them, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was blown away. So Beats by Dre support, you can find them if you need them. You can find them on Twitter at Beats Support. But again, I thought that was so cool that within, I was gonna say 48 hours, but that's not the right. Yeah, it was like earlier today. So they came like Monday afternoon, and Wednesday morning I had new ones.
That's amazing.
I didn't know what I was gonna do for the show if they weren't here though. Wow. I was like, I'm gonna have to wear like.
We'll just have to cancel like I did last time.
We won't get into that. Well, Jay, did Dr. Dre get out of the truck and come hand deliver them to you?
It was Dre that delivered them to me. We wrapped a few bars. Yeah, it was great, man. No, you know what? I think they're actually owned by Apple because on the package it said AI, Apple Incorporated or whatever. So I assume that. It's because you can buy them in the App Store now.
Yeah, I don't think Allen Iverson bought them. So
yeah, remember him? Man, he was short, but he was good. AI.
Oh, he was really good. The question.
Yeah, the question. He really had the killer.
Practice. We talking about practice? That's like one of my favorite clips of all time. I was showing that to my wife the other day. I made that reference, and she was like, "I don't understand." I was like, "Let me show you." So,
it is the best reference.
Yeah, that one, and then the Jim Mora playoffs. Those are the two. Those are like the two best sound bites ever. So.
Have you seen that somebody actually created like beat songs out of those? So it's like they use like those clips and like
they auto tune it and stuff. Those guys are amazing to do that. I tried to do that with some Ty Lopez videos, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. So, and I feel like I'm pretty good at like figuring out how to do things, and I couldn't figure it out. So, well, Ben, listen, let's talk for a minute for our audience that may not know like who you are and what you do in the space. We're so like involved in crypto that like I just assume like everybody knows everybody, But
Yeah.
for our audience that may not know you, just tell a little bit about yourself and your background. I thought that when we were together at World CryptoCon, I thought that story you told about having a radio station in St. Louis, that was like, I think about that story all the time. That was a great story. So if you can mind sharing that too, that'd be great.
Oh yeah. I here in St. Louis, Missouri, I had a local radio show for uh, almost a year, and well, actually about a half of a year, and and it if you've never watched my show, number one, I'm a truck driver, and number two, I have a speech impediment, and number three, I'm wickedly good looking, and
I can relate.
oh, I feel you,
we
brother.
all can.
We all
We all
The
can.
struggle's real, and
But I do notice you do have a nice little small beard.
yeah, this is my baby beard. I mean, you guys are healthy, you know, healthy young men. Well, I don't know about being young, but
Not so young.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
We can
So
talk
I'm
about
at
it.
this. I'm at the stage where I'm combing my beard now.
Love that.
Yeah, yours looks good. If I grew out mine, it would be gray all down. Actually, I would look like Bitboy.
Exactly.
You know.
I just rock the beard because I'm lazy and I don't like to shave.
Yeah, I've had my goatee for as long as I can remember, and I guess I'm just trapped in. I'm trapped in those years of like my life. I think everyone reaches years of their life where their image freezes. Like they don't change anything. They wear the same clothes like 1996, is about when I froze. So I have on like some Z Cavarici pants and like a friggin' Adidas shirt with Adidas, shoes with the tongue flipped out. And I and and when I wear blue jeans, I tight roll them. That's how old school I am. You
Well,
know.
that's good, man, because you may be the only person on the show right now wearing pants. So I'm glad you went over that.
Well, I'm not saying right now I'm wearing.
Okay. Good. Just want to
No,
make sure we're all in the same boat.
I actually thought that was part of the show
It
was you
is.
couldn't wear pants.
Yes, that is.
The funny thing is, one of my and Jay Chain's first conversations we ever had was about not wearing pants in YouTube videos. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Yeah,
I do.
that was funny.
Man, you don't want them. You just don't want them on.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the point? I mean, hell, you can't see it. Well, actually, with me, you can't see it anyway. I'm I
So
I'm
Ben,
hung
what do you do in the space?
I'm hung like a hummingbird.
Take another sip of that sweet tea. Let's keep on moving.
Oh, you think this is sweet tea?
Oh Lord.
No, I'm just joking. No, but I've actually been in cryptos for about 3 years now. Well, I've actually been purchasing cryptos for like 3 years now. I have been researching them for about 4.5 years because I didn't want to put any money in until I knew what the hell I was even looking at. And with like blockchain, and you have Bitcoin, you have Litecoin, you have Ethereum, you have Ripple, which I think is the equivalent of herpes, and you have all of these like different coins that you have no idea which one you should buy. So you should educate yourself before you buy anything. And so that's what I did. And but a few years ago, I started actually doing videos on Facebook,
Mm.
and uh, and it was weird because I was originally just like play playing around, like all of my friends on Facebook. I'd actually do Facebook Live when it originally came out, and I'm like, y'all, I'm live, and I just started like rambling and talking and everything, and before I knew it, I had like all these people like watching my, I guess, show, and before I knew it, I had like 12,000 views per show, and I'm like, this is getting out of hand. And then I moved over to YouTube, and I just kept on growing and growing and growing, and here I am now, 255 pounds, and I still keep growing. But I I love cryptocurrency. I love freedom. I love people. I love the environment. I love the technology. I love the community. It and there's so much in. There's nothing else as interesting out in the world right now. That, at least nothing else that I want to get involved in. You know, because if if you really look at like our politics and all that, that's just gone to hell in a handbasket.
Oh, it's disgusting.
And
It's
yeah,
only
I
get
don't even want
worse.
to leave the house. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, speaking of politics, and we don't really talk about politics. I don't talk about politics ever. But
Go Trump. No.
I leave my political biases to secrets. I don't let people know. But in all seriousness, though, like there is though, speaking kind of just a larger political issue of cryptocurrency, for what I've seen so far, it does seem like with cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency, in my opinion, is going to become a political issue. Probably not in 2020, definitely by 2024. And we kind of see it shaping as we know the way our two-party system works here in America is that one party's for something and one's against it. And that is across the board. You can't find there's almost nothing that, they agree on. So it seems like to me what we've seen forming so far, if you watch the comments from senators and congressmen and people in the political sphere, it seems as if the Democratic Party is lining up to be against cryptocurrency, and the Republican Party and those that lean right are more for cryptocurrency. And then you got, a large contingent of people involved in cryptocurrency, do lean libertarian, but most libertarians it's slight right. So what do you think about that? What do you think about the political, political ties that cryptocurrency could have in the future?
Yeah, I think that cryptocurrencies are going to revolutionize not only the world and tech, but it's also going to revolutionize the structure of every single government in the world. Because number one, they're going to have to change how they tax us, because with cryptocurrency you can easily go around taxes. and once you're exchanging your labor for actual cryptocurrencies and you're leaving out the US dollar, because I've actually helped with projects, and they're like, all right, we'll pay you 2,500, and I'm like, no, I want Litecoin. And they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll just pay you in Litecoin. So it's once you're exchanging your labor for cryptocurrencies, how the hell are they going to tax that? So they're basically going to have to switch over to a national sales tax. And I think, as you said, where the the liberal, the progressive, the democratic, I hate to call them that because they're not really democratic, side is anti-crypto, and the right is more pro-crypto because the right, now this is my views, and everyone can totally disagree with me, and they can unfriend me on Facebook, is more freedom, like individual freedom, more, human rights over civil rights, because if you understand what a civil right is, it isn't what you think it is. A civil right is granted to you from the government, where a natural right you have when you're born. That's that's why they called it the Civil War. It wasn't because it was civil. It was actually called the Civil War because of the Reconstruction phase afterwards changed the contract between the government and the American people. That's when we actually became civilians, was right after the Civil War. And the Democratic Party, they like the structure of the civil rights because those are granted by government, and the right likes more of the natural rights in our Constitution. And in the Constitution, when they talk about coining money, it is a weight of silver, and it's not, this completely unrealistic fiat currency we have now, which is junk. And eventually the cryptocurrencies will eat the globe's fiat currencies, because that's what cryptocurrencies do. That's the only thing they do. They don't do anything else except eat fiat currency, because cryptocurrencies are programmed to be deflationary, where the fiats are inflationary. So the only weapon that the Federal Reserve has against Litecoin and Bitcoin, and even actually Bitcoin Cash, is the printing press. And unfortunately, the more you print, the more that Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash eats. That's it. Yeah. So it isn't whether or not cryptocurrencies are going to win, because they will. They'll naturally win. You put a deflationary currency in any environment with an inflationary currency, and it's over and done. That's why they won't. And if I'm actually talking too much, just like slap the shit out of me and be done.
I usually spend 90% of the podcast talking, so it's good when other people talk.
Oh, okay. And so, as I think that the Federal Reserve is, and other parts of our government and economic structure are manipulating the prices of cryptos right now using the exchanges, because I think that 2017 scared the hell out of them.
Yeah.
Because it had everyone's attention.
Oh, absolutely.
And everyone was like, what the hell is Bitcoin? And if you remember, at the head of the CBOE announced when they said, well, we're launching, futures, and we're going to launch, Bitcoin futures. Do you guys remember how quickly they launched that futures?
It was fast.
It was like it was like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, we're launching Bitcoin futures in approximately 18 minutes.
Yeah.
Because they knew that they. I'll go deep down a rabbit hole, boys. We can go down there deep. It the SEC, the all of the protection agencies that the U.S. government has, that's not to help the people. The regulations are not there to help the people. The regulators are there to make sure that the system lives,
Right.
not the little people. They could give a perfect example. How many major banks have been caught laundering drug money
We see it every
and
week.
laundering?
We see it every week.
Right.
Yeah.
And yet we're honestly supposed to believe that there's regulators just poking around in there. Either they're the dumbest regulators in the world, or they're in on it, and they're absolutely in on it. They don't care. The U.S. government does not care about money laundering. What they care about is money replacing their money.
Yeah. They getting their cut. That's all they're concerned about.
Right,
Yeah.
right, and really, taxation's a lie too, because all right, so you're going to tax the hell out of us, but yet you have a printing press. What the hell's the point of that? Why tax us? Just print out the money. It's the same thing. We 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 have a national debt that they always talk about the national debt. Oh, national debt's going to kill us all. No, it's not. We're at 22 trillion.
Yeah, just it.
Every year, we're adding on $2, $3, $4 trillion. Hey, what the hell? Because they're just printing it up. It's all an illusion. And the taxation, the reason they have taxation, because this is the little secret that the government never tells you. They could give two craps about taxation. What they worry about is the labor supply. That's their number one worry. As long as a good chunk of America are the laborers of America, that's all they care about. And that's why taxation and the Federal Reserve adjust the interest rate. They don't care about dragging in money or anything like that. Now, they do actually care about inflation. And I'll tell you why. Because another group of words to define inflation is little guys got too much money. Let's take some money from the little guys. That's what they warn us about inflation. They're like, oh, inflation's getting too hot. Prices are starting to rise. Yeah, you know what that is? That's people shopping. And in America, uh, the corporations are actually partnered with the government, where at the right time, at the right date, they put out a little tweet, or which is not a tweet, it's actually the National Chamber of Commerce that I actually control this part, where they lower production so that prices rise, so that the Federal Reserve can actually point and go, ooh, 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 inflation. And when really, if they ramped up production, the price would level out, the little guys would be able to shop and actually get what they want, and the prices wouldn't rise. But they don't want that. They cannot have a labor force that is working themselves out of poverty. They need the people poor. They need a majority of the people poor so that they're uneducated, they're uh, they they show up to work so they got wife and kids, they got to go to work. So they the government worries more about the labor allocation of the society than they ever worry about taxation.
Well,
That's all.
how do you feel like that'll change as AI and robots begin to take? Because look, if we face facts, those lower level jobs are the ones that are going to be taken first. You know, because if you're like, if you're a creative graphic designer, like it's going to be really hard to get, AI to learn how to create something from scratch, like from a creative perspective, and to make it unique. However, if you work at Crystal and you work behind the cash register, it's real easy to put kiosks there, or if you work in a factory, almost every factory job can be replaced with robotics, right? So if that's the case,
Truck drivers.
people have been at, people always say like, well, what's going to happen, with self-driving cars? Truck drivers are going to be the first ones that are gone.
Tesla's working on that, aren't they?
Yeah, because they're the most.
Oh yeah, they got a pretty truck.
They're the most they're the most dangerous on the road just because of their size and because of the hours demanded from truck drivers and stuff. I'm sure that in the truck driving community, there's a lot of guys that are using drugs or uppers or whatever it might be to stay up. I know probably drug testing has got a little more intense and stuff like that, but
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, so it makes sense to get them their own walled off lane on the highway and make them just self-driving vehicles. So
Bitcoin Ben, really quick. For my regular day job, I work in the ground transportation world, and one of the things that the government's implemented this year was electronic logs for the drivers. Is that something you had to switch over as a truck driver as well?
Yes, we all run on e-logs, and actually, to tell you the truth, I'm a local driver, so I'm home every night, and I never leave a 100-mile radius. So I technically and legally, I am not required to use an e-log, but my company that I work for uses the e-log, like track your fuel usage, your mileage, your location, they GPS you and all that. But to your point, what are they going to do with the lower laborers? That they've already announced what they're going to do. Universal basic income is and that will be using a cryptocurrency. Oh, absolutely, it's dangerous. We now, this might sound woo-woo for a lot of people, but if you do your research, you'll learn real quick that this is where we're going. That there's going to be a transition into cryptocurrency. Now, it ain't going to be Bitcoin, and it ain't going to be Litecoin, and it ain't going to be Ripple. It's going to be a government issue. Now, we have a choice because we can choose what currency we use. If the majority of the people, and that's why I'm doing my Bitcoin bin tour all over the globe, I'm actually going to Ireland, Australia. I have been in the UK. I have the Texas event. Next month, I will be in Kentucky. Last week, I was in Portland. The week before that, I was in North Carolina. And what I'm doing is I'm doing all of these local meetups, and I'm encouraging other people to have more meetups. Get the little guys involved in cryptocurrency while we can, because there's going to be a transition It's what the people choose. That's the key. The government is going to issue their little cryptocurrency, whatever it is, like the Fed coin or whatever they want to call it, and and they're they're going to have it where your checking account and your banking account is directly linked with a what is called a NERP, a negative interest, or is it NERP? No, negative interest rate. So what they're going to do is use this rate. All right, you receive your paycheck on Friday. You get $1,000. All right. Well, your area is kind of slowing down economically. And it's people aren't shopping like the government thinks they should be. So your area is going to have an interest rate change where either you spend your money or you lose some of your money in your account. That's what all of this like negative interest is over in Europe. That's what that is. Over in Europe, if you put $1,000 in your account and you never touch it, at the end of the year, you have $945. You've lost money if you hold on to it because they want the economic engine moving. They want you out there shopping. They don't want you to save. People who save aren't slaves. That's the difference. And the universal basic income is going to I think they tested it in like Portland, Oregon.
It would be Portland.
I know. And I think another town in like California or something. But it's not only is it economically stupid because they don't understand that. Now, I guess it would kind of work if you have a rising production using automation, because if you have currency issuance without the right amount of production, then you have inflation. But if your AI is producing at the equal or higher level than your currency distribution, then it would level out. But the problem is that's not freedom.
Right.
That's the complete opposite of freedom. That is centralized control, also known as, if you've read the Communist Manifesto,
right.
Communism.
That's all I'm sitting here thinking. While you're talking, I'm like, wow, universal basic income for doing nothing. I mean, that sounds like communism. It sounds like socialism, and not the watered down socialism that we know from some of the countries in Europe and things like that. It is not true socialism. We've seen places where true socialism and true communism, live, and those are not good places you want to go. So
look at China.
Yeah,
you have a social score. And if your social score is not right, you ain't getting an apartment. You ain't buying a car.
You can't travel. Like, you can't even travel. They won't even let you leave.
China.
Exactly. Oh, dude, I'd be dead in China. I would be that guy in front of the tank, and they're not going to let that happen again. So they'll roll over my fat ass. But it's the American people need to realize that we're in some serious trouble. Love or hate Trump, Trump is a raging bull. And honestly, the Republicans hate him, the Democrats hate him. You know what? Just for the hell of it, I'm going to go for him. Because if the politicians hate him, hey, Why not?
Well, I mean,
That's-
we've seen this saga play out over the last couple of years. That's when he first won the presidency, I thought, okay, well, it's gonna be an interesting transition, and then we started with the riots and the marches, and then it moved into the Russian stuff, and you thought like, okay, well, by the time he's halfway done, like the Russian stuff would be cleared up. It's gonna drag on his entire presidency, even if he wins again. It'll drag on for 4 more years. It's all a distraction,
It's
people that are smart know this. I mean, if you fall into these party lines where you just blindly believe whatever your leaders tell you to, then
Yeah.
you think there's
because
a lot going on. But the world's most like craziest, heaviest, most expensive investigation of all time in 2 years has produced nothing other than a couple of people kind of on his outer circle that have gotten in trouble for offenses not to do with
Like taxes or
yeah,
it's crazy. So
you jaywalked
yeah,
8 years ago.
it's crazy. Well, we've ran overtime here a little bit, Ben. We certainly appreciate your
Oh, okay.
thoughts on all that. And I think that's definitely an interesting perspective. I do think that the universal basic income is something I'm going to think about for a while. That I haven't thought about. That's the answer that is probably going to come from AI taking people's jobs and stuff. But it makes sense with the way that part of our country is moving towards. So, what do you think about J-Change? You got any final thoughts for the show today?
Yeah, one of my takeaways is, something you were talking about where, countries going to a crypto is a thing. I know, Ben, I know that you spent some time with the guys at Apollo, BitBoy, I've talked about them too. They've got some meetings with several African nations to become their national cryptocurrency currency, which that's super exciting. I mean, I know that's like so far away from home, but I think it's a good first step in, kind of turning the world over and creating that. So that was, something that I read, that they had put out the other day. So it was cool to see. And it kind of fits into this whole thing where, we are going to see a shift in this whole kind of currency system. And I'm excited for it.
We live in interesting times,
sure
my
do.
friends. And I think the next 10 years, between now and 10 years, we're either going to be so much more free or we are going to be absolute slaves.
Yep.
And
No, find me in a mountain retreat out in the woods. I won't do that.
I don't think so. I think if it gets that bad, I think there's, especially in Texas, well, I live in St. Louis, Missouri, and I can smell the freedom from Texas.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, I live near Atlanta, so I'm a little closer to freedom, but I know Texas is that freedom state.
Come on down, boys.
Yeah.
Hey, don't think me and my wife aren't probably planning to,
Yeah.
because it's
We don't pay state taxes here.
yeah. I think I honestly believe Texas, if things go bad, Texas is gonna secede, and that is when things are gonna
They're
get
gonna have to take me with
really.
them. They're gonna have to take me with them.
I'd say that if that happens, I'm coming down to Texas, and we are kicking everyone out of Austin. We're going to send them back to
All those Austin
California.
hippies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the California people, get them out of here. No, we got
Yeah.
a saying here: "Don't California my Austin."
And that's true. And I hope it doesn't happen, but in the future, who knows what'll happen? But
Interesting times.
locked and loaded, rocked and rolled.
Well,
Here we go. Well,
I was gonna say it's very interesting times with technology and science both. There's a lot of stuff going on in the science world right now that's really crazy. So definitely going to be something to watch. And we certainly appreciate you having you on, Ben. You can find his YouTube channel, Bitcoin Ben. You want to send us out, Jay?
Yeah. Make sure you sign up for a ticket to the meetup April 6th down here in Texas. Like I said, check Ben out. Thanks for being on the show, man. We've got to make the announcement for the winner of the Ledger.
Yes.
We'll be doing that the next couple of days. So make sure you get your friends and keep getting those signups.
Yep.
Sign up for them.
Tweet it. Follow it.
Get. But other than that, man, we'll see you all next week.
Okay. We'll see you guys.
See ya.
All right, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you again.
Thanks, Ben.